All right. Well, hi again, everyone. My name is Kyle Rausch. I serve as the Executive Director of the Study Abroad Office here at UIC. I'm really thrilled to be here today with you. I feel like it's been a long time coming for me. I joined the university 5 years ago, and pretty soon after really tried to build some relationships with the College of Engineering, knowing that, as we'll talk about soon, a lot of our STEM students don't have a lot of opportunities to study abroad or sometimes think that it's impossible for them to. And we've been doing a lot of work with your college to try and change that and build new programs. So hopefully today will be exciting for you to learn about all of the opportunities you do have as computer science students at UIC. I am fortunate to be joined by a few potentially familiar faces from the college, so I'd love just to have them briefly introduce themselves. At the end, we'll have some time for Q&A, and they're here to help answer maybe some of those departmental or college questions I might not be quite able to answer. So if you don't mind, maybe we can start with you, Melissa.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Melissa Farwick. I am one of the CS academic advisors. So yeah, I'll pass it over to Lourdes.
Hi everybody, my name is Lourdes Carteno. I am also CS Academic Advisor, have been with the department for about a year, a little over a year, and just happy to sort of learn more about CS and their role with study abroad and opportunities there.
Thank you both for being here and helping promote. And then we also have Elena Diaz. Do you want to do a quick introduction, Elena?
Gotta remember to unmute. Hi, good afternoon now. My name is Elena Diaz. I am one of the academic advisors in the College of Engineering. And for those students that are interested in study abroad, I would be your contact person when you are seeking to have courses evaluated for transfer credit, because there is a process with the study abroad office that you need to A, select the school, B, select what courses you want to have hopefully transfer over during your study abroad program. And there's like listing of classes you need to fill out, and typically you would send those to me and I work with you to try to get those evaluations done and give you an idea of what would or would not count towards your degree.
Perfect. Thank you, Elena. So for the bulk of our time today, I'll be doing a high-level overview of study abroad at UIC, how it works, and then diving more specifically into some opportunities that might be of interest to computer science students. And Melissa, Lourdes, and Elena are kindly here again to show support, let you all know that they're here in case you have more specific questions that I can answer. And again, at the end, I'm sure there'll be plenty of time for Q&A where they can hop in as helpful. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen and we will dive into our presentation. So one moment while I get that going. All right, thumbs up if you see a PowerPoint. I have too many screens, so I always like to make sure. Thank you, thank you. I will try to keep an eye on the chat. So if you have questions as I go along, please feel free to drop them in there. But again, we'll check in throughout and make sure that I'm addressing those. We just get some of our new admits in. Okay, well, hi to those of you just joining us, just getting started. So for today, again, high-level overview of who we are in the Study Abroad Office and opportunities for computer science students. First, I just want to start out by letting you know who you get to work with when you study abroad. So I'm joined by a great team, or small but mighty team, I like to say here in the SAO, of international educators who have all either lived, worked, or studied abroad themselves. So we deeply care about the work that we do, and more importantly, we care about helping you as UIC students understand how you can fit this in if it's something you would like to add to your time while you're here at UIC. You don't need to remember this, but the way our advising works in our office is each of my advisors have a region, or multiple regions rather, that they advise for. So once you know where you want to go, then you can jump on our website and kind of see who might be best to speak with. But you see Josefina Vega over here. She is our primary exploratory study abroad advisor. So if you are just getting started and don't really have an idea where to go, Josefina is an excellent person to make a meeting with, and you can make a meeting with all of us via iAdvice. Okay. So before we dive into some CS specifics, I just want to make sure everyone knows we have 3 types of programs at UIC. So I'll do a brief rundown of these. The first type are what we call faculty-directed programs. And these are short-term programs primarily during the summer and spring break. And they're led by UIC professors. So I like to tell students you can kind of think of these as the most epic field trip you could imagine. So a faculty member will take a group of UIC students to another country and they'll be teaching a course or two courses. And they're very experiential in nature, meaning you might have some lectures in classrooms, but for the most part, you're going to be out in the cities using those as your textbook and classroom. So if you are like me and more of a visual hands-on learner, it's a really fun way to bring your studies to life, so to say. I also love faculty-directed programs for our student body because we know we have a lot of first-generation college students, a lot of students who maybe haven't done a ton of international travel. So it's a really fantastic way to get some experience in a very safe and organized way to travel abroad. And then in terms of coursework, it's pretty easy because these are all UIC classes. So in terms of knowing what credit you get, you can have a little bit more confidence from the offset of knowing what the courses might count for. So next we have our partnership programs. This is where UIC partners with third-party providers or study abroad companies, if you will, who have study centers around the world. And they invite American college students to come study at their study center. In addition, oftentimes they'll partner with local universities. So you might have the option to take a class at the study center as well as a class at the local university. And we love these programs because they have lots of course options for students. So again, especially for our STEM students, which it can be a little bit more challenging to get abroad, they tend to have some good options to consider. And then also they have student affairs type staff that work in their centers. So you're used to working with your advisors here. You would have a full team of professionals on site to support you while you're abroad as well. Now, Elena did mention a little bit about the course equivalency process. So as you see here, if you go on a partnership program, you would fill out something called a course approval form, and we help you through that process. But basically all it is you saying, I want to take these classes abroad. You submit the form to, in this case, Elena, and she works to review those courses and let you know if any of them could potentially satisfy degree requirements, would be elective credits, just so you have a little bit more confidence in understanding what those courses would or would not do for your degree plan. And then lastly, we have exchange programs. I think these are kind of the traditional model for many of study abroad that you might be used to. So, excuse me. This is where we have university partners around the world, and you could go be an international student for a semester or full year. And in return, a student would come take your place here at UIC. I like to say these are probably the most independent and culturally immersive option because you're going to be in classes with local students. So if you're going somewhere where English is not the primary language, then obviously you probably need to be proficient, although many exchange partners do have coursework in English as well. These can also sometimes be a good option for students who need to take very specific courses abroad because you typically have access to the entire course catalog at our foreign university partners. And this is the only model of program where you pay your same UIC tuition. So from a financial perspective, it is often very easy to understand what the cost will be. Now, on exchange, you do also have to budget for housing and whatnot, but I'll talk a little bit about funding resources later. So hope that makes sense. Again, you don't have to remember this. This is on our website, but I think it's just helpful to know we have different types of experiences depending upon your goals and what you're ready for. Just checking my chat, making sure no questions. All right, let's keep moving along. So I wanted to give you a sense of what study abroad looks like here at UIC. So as of last academic year, we sent the most students the university has ever sent abroad. So that was really exciting to see. It's just over 300. So we are growing. We had representation across 12 of the colleges and schools, and our students went to 30 countries, and we had 78 majors represented. Now we know and celebrate our diverse campus, so it is also exciting to see that for the most part, diversity is represented in who studies abroad. There are a couple of gaps to close, such as with our Asian American students, so we hope to offer some more support to help with that. But on the whole, we're really proud to see that our diverse student body is interested in study abroad. So where are Flames going? Here you see the top 10 countries as of last academic year. So this changes from year to year, but I'd say Spain, France, and the UK tend to vie for the top spots. So Western Europe is popular, but we also are seeing rising interest in Japan and South Korea, and you see Costa Rica on the list. So I think there's something to learn anywhere you go, but I'm always excited when students are open to considering some non-traditional destinations, because I think being in college, it's a very unique time to maybe try something off the beaten path. Because you can always get to Europe later. But Europe's great. I stayed in France and UK myself, so not hating on Europe, just encouraging you to have an open mind as you look at options. All right, I just wanted to flash this up real quick because it kind of contextualizes why we're here today. So this is national data about US students who study abroad by discipline. And you see here the sad, in my eyes, statistic that very few computer science students do study abroad at the national level. As of 2021, 2022, it was 3.4%. Now, nationally, only 6% of US students study abroad, so it's already a low number. But we can and should do better because I think the STEM fields, it's very obvious. These are global professions that you're going into. Whether or not you'll work abroad, you will certainly have diverse colleagues and potentially be at a firm that does have international clients. So having some of these perspectives and experiences can certainly be valuable to future employers. So knowing that this number is so low and knowing that computer science students are so well represented at UIC, we really wanted to be strategic about bringing opportunities to. So since COVID had to stop sending students abroad, we resumed only recently in fall of 2022. So I pulled data about computer science students who have gone abroad since fall of 2022. So that's what you see here. We've sent 10 students, although we have several in the pipeline for summer and fall, so that's exciting. But we sent 10 students. You see the countries represented, as well as race and ethnicity data. And then here is a list of some of the programs where those computer science students went. So you can see some good variety. We have a mix of some programs like our CEA Kappa STEM program in Barcelona that ostensibly students were taking computer science courses on, but you also see programs like our honors pop art and culture program, which really it was just for the experience and elective credit that students likely participated in that program for. So there's no right or wrong answer. I think it depends on your goals, but certainly where you are in your degree program and what flexibility you do or do not have. So that's why it's always important when you are starting to think about study abroad that you do connect with your advisors. You do connect with Elena. I don't know, Elena, maybe later you can share if they can make appointments with you or if you prefer a different mechanism, but just checking in with the people in your college and department who can really help you make informed decisions. Maybe I'll stop there. Elena, did you want to add anything about preferred ways for them to get in touch with you?
I mean, I have office hours and I advise, so I have students usually just click on the link and if they're interested in study abroad, all I ask is that you include that information as a description of the reason why we're scheduling an appointment, because technically my cohort of students is A through E. And so when I see someone that's out of my cohort, I reach out to them to inquire, are you to study abroad or is this a different situation? So, you know, other than that, it's pretty straightforward. You just schedule an appointment with me and I advise, and just, again, please just let me know that it's inquiring about the study abroad process and we'll go from there.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. So now let's get to the good stuff, some actual CS focused programs. So first, I'm going to start with a few of our partnership programs, so those third-party study center programs. First, at the request of the former department head, Dr. Sloan, we have added a partnership with AIT Budapest. So this is a really unique program. It's the only solely computer science focused program that I'm aware of, and it's based in Budapest, Hungary. And this program was designed, just as the name implies, explicitly for computer science students. So you'll be working with some of Hungary's top computer scientists, including the gentleman who started the program was the inventor of the Rubik's Cube. I think that's a pretty funny claim to fame for the program. But anyways, some really renowned researchers in the beautiful Central European city of Budapest. So it's a nice mix of computer science and other STEM coursework, but also the cultural experience I'm sure many of you would be looking for by studying in Central Europe. You can go on their website. They have all of the courses they offer online, the syllabi. We have pre-articulated with the department some courses for this program. One thing to know, it is a smaller program and they take applications from many colleges in the US, so it is among our more competitive offerings. So you do need to be fairly strong in your math and computer science courses to be competitive for this. But as long as you're working with our office and applying by the deadlines, and you meet the eligibility criteria, you should have a good shot. Excuse me. And again, the programs are linked here, so I will send out a copy of the slides and you'll be able to click in and kind of do some deeper reading on each of these. The other thing I want to say is, although I'm highlighting a few, this is not an exhaustive list. We have over 300 programs available to UIC students. So just trying to whet your appetite a little. All right, next we have Temple University Japan. Again, this is another program where we got to send Dr. Sloan over to do some scouting, and he had very positive feedback to share. But Temple University, of course, is a US university who has a branch campus in Japan, in Tokyo. They've had a campus there for many years. In fact, they were the first university from the US to open up a campus. And so it's a really interesting model in that you'll have students in your classes who are from Temple University US, but also local Japanese students. So a really cool mix of peers to learn from. Anyways, Temple University in recent years has really been investing in developing more computer science coursework. So you see a few sample course titles I pulled. This is not an exhaustive list, but for those of you interested in Japan, it could be a good partner to look into, and we're happy to help you look at courses and get those articulated to see if they would count for you. A newer opportunity I'm really pleased to share, especially for those students looking for undergraduate research experience, is with our partner Arcadia Abroad. They have a STEM summer research program, and it's just as the name implies. So instead of taking classes abroad, you would be participating in an ongoing research project with an actual faculty member abroad in their lab with other students. So the way this experience works is you can actually go online now, and actually let's just see if I can pull this up so you get a sense, but they have an active listing of ongoing research projects. So you see here computer science, and I'm just going to scroll because hopefully these topics make more sense to you all than they do me. I was a French major, so this is a little bit beyond my understanding, but they actually have quite a list for computer science, as you see here. So what you can do is kind of come here, see if any catch your interest, click to read more, and then you would actually apply for a specific project. So the way it works is before you arrive, you would do a literature review to become familiar with some of the foundational pieces of the related research. And then once you get on site, you're really there predominantly to be working in the labs with the professors. So as you see, it's 240 hours of research activities, and that leads to a final group presentation and paper for a peer-reviewed journal. So you could be an undergraduate with research experience and a peer-reviewed article, which if you're thinking of grad school is really fantastic for your grad school apps. Do they accept first-year undergraduates? That is a good question. Let me, at the end of that, if you'll remind me to go back to that, we can go on their website and see the eligibility criteria. Yeah, so again, this is a great program if you're thinking about getting research experience. And as you see, they have options in England, Spain, Ireland, Italy, and Scotland. All right. Another partnership program that I think could be good for computer science students is with CIEE. They're a very large program provider with campuses around the world, and they have a really flexible model called Open Campus. So what this allows students to do is study abroad for between 1 to 3 6-week blocks. So you could do a single 6-week block, you could do 2 6-week blocks, or you could do 3. The other interesting thing is you could mix and match locations. You can do all blocks in one location, one block in London, one block in Paris, another in Barcelona. So we have students do a little bit of everything. But beyond the customizable nature of the program, they have recently launched this Global Flex program, which allows students at no extra cost to add coursework, online coursework from Arizona State University, which has a very robust and renowned online campus, to flesh out their courses. So the way this looks is you would have a couple courses you're taking abroad, so courses you're actually going to class for. And then in addition, you could add between 1 to 2 online courses from ASU to round out your schedule. And so this is helpful for STEM majors because a lot of the classes that ASU has might be courses you need to take that maybe aren't offered abroad, but again, you could still take through ASU online. So I looked online. ASU has tons of computer science courses. Full disclosure, I used to work at Arizona State, so I'm very familiar with their quality of online programming. If you have any questions, I used to teach for their online program, so happy to talk with you about that. But we're really hopeful that this flexible model will help maybe our upperclassmen who want to study abroad, but need to take some of those courses. And as with any study abroad courses, this would be reviewed by your department, and we can get the syllabi and make sure before you go that it would be a good fit. All right, that was already a lot, so I'm just going to pause here and see if there are any questions. And while I wait, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Arcadia page so I can see if I can get you that answer. But anything else come up yet? Any questions? All right, while we wait to see if questions are coming in, for the Arcadia STEM Research Abroad, there are GPA requirements. However, they vary depending on location. It does not say that you have to be a certain year in undergrad though. So it looks like it just will be a GPA requirement, and you have to be in good academic standing and not on disciplinary probation. So feel free to start looking at their locations and see if you meet their GPA requirement. But if you do, we'd love to support your application. Okay, doesn't look like any questions have come in yet, so I'm going to keep going, but we'll have other times for you to ask some questions. All right, we're going to move on from partnership programs to a couple of new College of Engineering faculty-directed programs. Now, these aren't out of computer science. However, they are open to any College of Engineering student. So if any of these interest you, again, just talk with your advisor. More likely than not, they probably would be free electives if you have that available. Certainly, even if you don't, you can still participate for the experience. In the case of a new one, though, there might be an opportunity to get some CS credit. We're still looking into that with the Director of Undergraduate Studies. But first one is a new program that launched last year. It was the college's very first faculty-directed program, which was exciting, and it's biomaterials. And this year, need to update the title. We changed it. It's biomaterials and energy storage in Barcelona. So last year, only one course was offered. It was a biomaterials course. This year, we're bringing a second faculty, and so you'll have the option to take a biomaterials focused course or an energy storage focused course. And the way this program works is it's about 3 weeks in Barcelona, and it's a very, as I mentioned, experiential program. So you'll have usually daily lectures with the UIC faculty, and then each course will go out in the city and visit some of the major tech firms and research labs in each of these industries, meeting with professionals to learn about the cutting edge research that's going on. You might be asking, well, why Barcelona? Well, apart from it just being a very popular city for study abroad students, they actually have ample research parks in each of these areas of engineering where they're doing some pretty cutting edge research for the European market. So I think this is a great program for anyone who might have interest in doing things in, again, either energy storage or biomaterials. The coursework, although it is 400 level, is taught recognizing students from other disciplines will be joining, so you don't have to have an extensive background. Both the faculty will have a few pre-departure classes to help get students up to speed with some of the foundational topics. So once again, open to all College of Engineering students, and you can check more out by going to the program webpage. The next program I think might be a little bit more relevant for CS students, and it's a brand new program launching this summer. It's our entrepreneurship and augmentative medical smart sensing and wearable technology in Europe. So this program will have some very technical aspects focused to wearable tech, but a big part of it is really the professional and career aspects. So once you are, it'll travel to London and Milan, and the focus of the program is going to be bringing you to startups, local incubators in each of these cities to meet with professionals who are creating these devices and learn about their journey. So you will get, again, that technical content about how these devices are created and made to work, but also interestingly, how, if you have an idea, do you start a business, right? If maybe you're like me and have this kind of entrepreneurial side of your mind, you want to flex, what does that look like in a regulatory environment in the EU, for instance, how they navigate this? So if you have any interest in starting your own business one day, entrepreneurship in the tech scene, this could be a great program for you to look into. It's led by Dr. Hanana Esmail Beghi, who happens to have her own wearable tech business. So a great opportunity for you to form a close mentorship relationship with the faculty as well. So those are our 2 College of Engineering faculty directed programs. I do have a dream that one day we'll have a computer science faculty member step forward and propose. So if you know any good faculty, maybe plant the seed. But for now, you're welcome to consider these. So I'll pause here and see if there's any questions about either of these programs. And feel free if it's easier for you to unmute yourself if you'd like. Hey, I'll just take that to mean I did such a good job with my presentation, right? All right, so, and that's not it. So we're constantly looking at new programs. And just 2 weeks ago, I met with a new partner for us called IFSA, the Institute for Foreign Studies Abroad. And there's a couple programs that I want to get your feedback on. So these are not approved yet, but we're looking into them. So I just want to be very clear on that. But I would love just to give you a short description and kind of see from the students here on the call if you would be interested in these. So the first is the Tech Career Accelerator, and this is in Prague, Czech Republic. And it's a unique program in that everyone would take this core class, which is leadership development for the tech sector. So a little bit similar to the previous program I mentioned, the emphasis of this would be looking at the Prague tech scene and learning from professionals there, doing company visits. But in addition, you have the option to take other coursework. So if you do need to kind of tackle some classes for your degree plan, this could be a good option to look into if you still want that professional experience as well. Additionally, beyond this core class and other courses you can take, they also do have internships in computer science available at this location. So if you want to get some of that work experience, this might be interesting for you as well. So quick show of virtual thumbs or hands or however you want to do it, you can put it in the chat, but just curious, does this sound like we should keep reviewing and exploring? Would you be interested in something like this? I'm seeing thumbs. Okay, I'm going to put some time into this. I didn't want to invest time if no one was interested, but good to see. What about advisors? Does this sound like have you talked to students who might be interested in these things?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think this would be something of interest for sure.
Cool. Well, again, we still need to have the department college kind of review the curriculum, and we'll work on that, but more to come hopefully about this opportunity. One other one also from IFSA, this one's in London, and it's their computer science kind of traditional study program. So this program has ample computer science focused coursework. You have the option of taking classes at the IFSA Center, or they also partner with 2 local universities in London, the University of Westminster and Queen Mary University of London. Worth noting that Queen Mary University of London is highly ranked in the UK for computer science coursework, so could be another interesting option for you to consider. They also have internship and research options available. So if you're more interested in London versus Prague, another interesting one. So not approved yet, but again, just by show of virtual thumbs, are we interested in London, computer science in London? All right, I got a thumb. Okay, some interest. So I think we might as well just add it to the mix and see what happens. So I hope those are exciting. This is by no means, again, an exhaustive list. There are others. So if none of these caught your interest, please don't get discouraged. Come talk to us. And maybe you have friends at other schools who've done computer science study abroad. We're always happy to look at new programs. So feel free to get in touch with me if you'd like us to review any offering that you're aware of. All right. We're getting towards the end, so I want to talk a little bit about funding. I know that's always a huge question when students think about study abroad. The good news is at UIC, we have a good number of resources available, and UIC students are really competitive for study abroad scholarships. As I mentioned earlier, only 6% of US students study abroad, so there's a great emphasis on increasing access and certainly diversifying who studies abroad. And of course, our campus has a lot of diverse students. But beyond that, you all as STEM majors are super competitive for study abroad because only 3.4% of computer science students study abroad. Most scholarships usually give extra points for STEM students who apply for them. So I hope that's good news for you, is that if you want to study abroad, you should definitely apply for scholarships because you'll be competitive. But even before we consider scholarships, as you see, this chart implies, I think a lot of times students assume, well, study abroad must cost more than it costs for a normal semester. So when I first started here, I pulled the data, and as you see, that's not necessarily the case. So we actually have some programs that cost less than what it costs for an in-state student to study at UIC for the semester. Certainly not a ton of programs, but they do exist, and we'd be happy to help you look at those if cost is a really important concern. But even for our out-of-state students, our average mid-study abroad for a semester, we do have some programs that cost less than what tuition would cost for an out-of-state student. And then, of course, we do have the programs that cost a lot. Semester at Sea, very cool program, but very expensive. So, but I do think this is just helpful to hopefully dispel that myth that study abroad has to cost more, because it doesn't. You can also use your federal financial aid. So I always encourage students who are eligible for FAFSA to submit that. Even if you typically don't get much here on campus, you should do it, because when you study abroad, we actually submit a cost sheet to the financial aid office, and they reassess your cost of attendance for the term that you're abroad. So you may have access to additional aid that you otherwise wouldn't get. So it's always just great to put that out there and see what you're eligible for. I mentioned scholarships, so there are many. We have some that our office manages you could apply for. There are some colleges and departments on campus that have study abroad scholarships. Any of you in the Honors College, that's a big one. They have some money. And then we do a lot of advising for nationally competitive study abroad scholarships. And if you go on one of our program partners programs, they have their own scholarships, and you can stack. You can apply for ours, you can apply for a national one, you can apply for partner, and if you get them all, you can use them. I have had some students apply for so many scholarships that they actually get that they made money studying abroad. So that's always a fun scenario to see. Because we are a minority serving institution, many of our partners give discounts automatically. You don't even have to apply for these. So I always encourage you to start on our website, because if you go directly to the partners website, you might see one price, that's their published price, but we get discounts because we're UIC. So always start by looking at our website, and then you can be directed to the partners website. And then we do also have a community-based funding guide, especially if you're planning early, like I hope you will be. You could have very well 6 months to a year, perhaps, to do some of your own fundraising. And so we put together a document that has some examples of past students and what they've done to save some funds for their program. So between scholarships, financial aid, and community-based funding, that's how most of our students afford study abroad. Last year, UIC students earned $130,000 in study abroad scholarships. So I know a lot of times we hear scholarships and we think, yeah, but I'll never get it. But it's not the same in study abroad. Sometimes we can't give money away. I'm going to talk about a scholarship soon where we had 50 awards, and I only was able to award 35 last year because we didn't have enough applicants. So don't count yourself out. So here's that scholarship I just mentioned. It's our Navigator Scholars program. If any of you are in your first year at UIC, whether you're a freshman or transfer student, and you are the first in your family to go to college, you're eligible to apply for this. We are currently accepting applications. That deadline is April 1st. But this is a really unique program we're super proud to have here at UIC. So what this is it gives you, if you apply and you get it, you find out at the end of this semester, and then you would have the rest of your time at UIC, so the remainder of your 4 years here, to use it to study abroad. So it's a planning scholarship. It kind of takes a little bit of that anxiety off because you'll already know you have some funding. And then in addition, it's a leadership development program. So in addition to the scholarship, you participate in a cohort, and each semester we host a global leadership summit where you come together with other first-gen students who are preparing to study abroad. And we talk about things like preparing to study abroad as a first-gen student. We use Clifton Strengths to map out our top 5 strengths and talk about how those are useful in study abroad. But we also think more than just study abroad, about leadership in a global context. So really great for students looking to get some leadership experience on their resume and some funding for study abroad. So as you see, we have 50 awards to give out this next year. So again, if you are in your first year and first-gen student, please consider applying. The application is available in Snap. If you're looking to go abroad this summer, we are doing our Bring a Fellow Flame campaign. So I think study abroad is better with a friend. So if you encourage a friend to sign up for a faculty-directed program and you both go, then we'll waive our study abroad admin fee and can help knock off $250 for you. So again, just a fun little program to see if you can convince one of your buddies to tag along with you. Wow, that was a ton of information. I'm impressed that you all stuck with me. Thank you so much. I hope it was helpful. My email address is here. You are welcome to get in touch with me at any point. But I'm going to stop sharing our screen, and we have plenty of time for some Q&A. So feel free to take some time to put your questions in the chat, or again, you're welcome to unmute yourself. Whoever wants to be the first. I'm curious, since no one did this at the start, are there any countries that you're interested in? Even if they're not ones I mentioned, this is just helpful as I meet with partners to see what you're interested in that we could develop. Ooh, that's a good question. I don't get that one a lot. So what does a Travel 3 advisory country mean? So the US Department of State is one of the resources we constantly look at. They have a security alert system for every country around the world. It's a 4-point scale. So 1 would be kind of the safest countries to go to, and 4 is do not travel. So being a public university, we do adhere to the State Department guidelines. And so if a country has a level 3 or 4 rating, there would be a petition process. So typically, our office doesn't have many programs in those destinations, but we do from time to time see countries get elevated for various reasons, and so we work with students on that. But hope that helps on that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Our students, and I believe they are, but just to confirm, students should get approvals for their courses that they plan on taking before they actually travel abroad, correct?
That is, yes, the ideal scenario, the preferred scenario. That is what we tell students. Sometimes for various reasons it doesn't happen, but yes, ideally you are applying to our office via our online application. Then you would get accepted to the program. And when you get accepted, then you can download what's called our course approval form, and you work with our study abroad advisor to pick out the classes you want to take. And then the idea is that you would submit it, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but to Elena in this case. Yeah.
Okay. Typical time frame for all of that to go through for a student? I know for me, when I get evaluation of courses, that could take anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. Especially if they're non-computer science courses, and they have to go to corresponding departments, whether it's math, physics, or general education elective. So it does take longer. But say well, not I, but the student submits their approved study abroad course approval form, then what would be their next steps?
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you for letting us know about the timeline. So students, I hope you hear that you definitely don't want to put this off last minute. I know sometimes students come in on our deadline day and then if it's going to take Elena and her colleagues 3 to 4 weeks to do that, you can see how that could create complications. So CS students, come to us early. But after the course approval form is hopefully approved, what happens is then the student uploads it to our application site and we register you in something called a study abroad placeholder course for your term abroad. And what this does is it's kind of a dummy course. It just lets us retain your active student status at UIC while you're abroad. Then when your program ends, your transcript gets into our office and we work with your department and the registrar to make sure that you registered for the correct courses and post your grades for the course credit that you earned. Did that answer the question, Elena?
One follow-up question to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So, because this is a question I get from students, they're like, I am done with my study abroad, I am back. How come my audit doesn't show the credits? How long does it take for that to go through?
Really good question. And this is a big reason why, if you're a senior, we urge you to carefully consider whether you study abroad the semester before your last semester. The reason is it can often take, especially if you're doing an exchange program with a foreign university, universities are slow. I mean, let's just acknowledge it. UIC is not always the fastest, right? So depending on the country, sometimes it can take anywhere between 1 to 3 months for us to receive the transcript after your program ends. So that's why we generally don't encourage students to study abroad the semester before they graduate. Now, if you are going to study on a faculty-directed program, that's not an issue because those are UIC classes. Our faculty will get their grades in by the deadline. And then partnership programs are typically pretty quick. Where it gets a little iffy is if you're going to go in a partner program and also take classes at a local university. That's really where we get the delays, is when a local university is involved, just because I can only put so much pressure on them. They're their own university. So if you have concerns or questions as students about this, talk to your study abroad advisor, because they have a good sense of the programs that get transcripts soon and those that take some time. I see a question, how will it work for applications, which are due March 9th? So very good. Yes, our summer and fall program app deadline is March 9th. Technically, our course approval form, double check, but I think we put it's due April 1st for our summer and fall program. So that still would be the goal. We still would prefer that you try and, work on that. This has been helpful for me. I might look into making the course approval form for CS students available earlier in the process. That way, if they want to, they can start that early, and we can always give that out. So even if you want to come in just for an advising meeting and say, hey, can I get the course approval form? We're happy to do that. So if you want to be proactive and get working on that, we are all about that, students. But yes, you technically still do have time. Even if, I know it's busy time of year for Elena when these are coming in. So even if she can't get it turned around by that April 1st deadline, we're going to do everything we can to work with US students and still get you abroad. Just know you might not have that confirmation until a little bit later in the semester, but one way or the other we work. And I don't say this because I don't want you to plan for this, but we do have a process where if you don't get your courses approved before you go, then there's a whole post-program course approval process. But it's not really ideal, because then, what happens if you don't get the credit you were hoping for, and then it might feel like a wasted semester abroad. So, the advice is plan early. Come talk to me early, right? Good questions. Hey, didn't see anyone mention any countries we're interested in, so maybe we're just soaking it all in, which is perfectly fine. Well, I don't want to belabor the point, so if you got everything you need, then we can end the session. I hope you are leaving today with a little bit more information and feel good about hopefully coming to chat with our advisors and explore options. If this is something you're interested in, please come talk to us. I think a lot of times students just don't come talk to us because they don't think they can afford it or can't fit it in, but we really yes, these are our job, but this is kind of our mission and vision for life. And so we try and find a way for every student to go abroad who wants to. So, and if I can just get on my soapbox very, very briefly, I think now more than ever, international experiences, intercultural experiences are just very needed in our day and age. We have a unique opportunity as college students to go abroad and show the world a different side of who we are as Americans and what we stand for. So I'll get off my soapbox now, but if that resonates with you, I hope you'll consider it. Recording will be available. I will email it to everyone who signed up. It's all private question there. So I'll send a copy of the slides and recording later this afternoon. All right, again, I want to give a huge shout out to College of Engineering, the Computer Science Department for being partners and promoting this, and to all of you students for showing up today. Please, for your friends who weren't here, I hope you'll share the link with them after I send it, and hopefully we'll see you around the study abroad office. Any closing words from my colleagues? No?
No, I just want to say thank you. And just as confirmation, can we get a copy of that presentation as well, please?
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
much.
All right. Well, everyone have a good rest of your day. I think midterms, are we at that point in the semester? If so, good luck, everyone, and hope to see you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah.